On JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, Wilson targets teenagers for construction industry. Member of Parliament for Westmoreland Western, Moreland Wilson, has targeted teenagers who will soon graduate from high schools for training and certification to work in the booming construction industry. What I've found so far is that we don't have a lot of people who are interested. They don't see it necessary to work in the construction industry because they can just scam and get their house. They don't have to get into carpentry and masonry. They don't have to get any skills, the first-time MP argued. The efforts by Wilson to attract the youth in his constituency to the construction sector comes in the wake of Prime Minister Andrew Holness's recent revelation of a shortage of construction workers in Jamaica. To meet the demand, Holness hinted at the possible importation of labor to satisfy the local demand if trained workers cannot be supplied locally. We have placed heart on alert that we're going to have to find these people, put them in a streamlined mechanism to get them trained, and provide them very quickly. If we don't do that, then there can be no complaint if we have to import labor into the country. And we are seeing an increase in requests for labor, particularly skilled labor, in the country, the Prime Minister stated. As a result of failed attempts to get adults in the parish trained for the construction sector, Wilson, who said he is currently in the process of sending out letters to parents, is hoping to have between 300 and 400 young people trained and certified in that field by the Heart NSDA Trust annually. Wilson said the aim is to capture the cohort of young people who are leaving high school and are not moving on to tertiary institutions or to be a part of the labor market. He is hoping that these young people will take up the training offer. We're not getting the droves of people. So what I am doing, the two high schools that I have, Little London and Grangehill, I am sending letters to the parents to ask them if they would like for their child to be a part of the program in which Hart comes in and does the training, stated Wilson. With a shortage of hotel workers also, Wilson is hoping to offer certified hospitality training courses that will equip young people to take up jobs in the tourism industry. Bike taxi operator gunned down. A man was killed in a drive-by shooting in Grangehill, Westmoreland, Friday morning, one day after the conclusion of a court case in which he was a witness. The deceased has been identified as 31-year-old Odin Smith, otherwise called Did Black, a bike taxi operator from Kings Valley. Reports are that Smith was sitting on his bike in the Grangehill Square when a car drove up. Two men alighted from the vehicle and shot him multiple times. The men then returned to the waiting vehicle and the car drove off. The car later crashed, and one of its doors fell off, but the men kept going in the vehicle. Smith was taken to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. According to a source, Smith and the man had an altercation in 2018. Him sell a lady some crab, and she was supposed to get 2 more. Him tell her when him go crab bush and get them, the source said. The source said the woman complained to her partner, who later got into a fight with Smith. Smith's house was later gutted by a fire and the matter went to court. Bike taxi operators in Grangehill are grieving. Me nervous. All we feel away, one man said. Me just left my eat a patty and cocoa bread, only if come here same dead, he added. Smith's sister, Vinette Gordon, said that her brother had been a hard worker. Anyway, the work them find it, she said. Right now me feel sick in my head for no so me can't see him, and if I call him, he won't answer, said a distraught Gordon. The last time they spoke, he had promised to visit. Him say him soon come look for me, and he not happen yet, she recalled. 55-year-old shopkeeper gunned down in Kingston 10. A 55-year-old shopkeeper was shot and killed on Newley Avenue of Cassia Park Avenue in Kingston 10 on Friday evening. The deceased has been identified as Faye Descott. Reports said that Descott was at her shop, where she also resides, when unknown assailants pounced upon her at about 5:20 p.m. She was shot multiple times, including in the head. The Halfway Tree police were summoned and she was rushed to the hospital, where she was pronounced dead. St. James nears 100 murders. 2 people were gunned down in St. James on Thursday, as bullets continue to rain in the northwestern parish. The second incident occurred shortly after 4 p.m. inside People's Arcade, located in downtown Montego Bay. The Barney Street police reported that the body of an unidentified male was discovered in a pool of blood after gunshots were heard coming from a section of the arcade, which is next to the transportation center in the second city. The victim had been shot multiple times. Prior to that killing, detectives attached to the Cambridge and Anchovy police stations were called to a scene in Mount Carey on Thursday morning, where a lone gunman had killed popular 36-year-old businessman Devard Brissett of York Bush, also in Mount Carey. Reports are that shortly after 6:30 a.m., Brissett was returning from his farm which is in proximity to his home, when he was ambushed by a gunman who had been awaiting him inside his yard. The gunman fired several shots at Brissett, who ran back in the direction of his farm. The gunman gave chase and shot Brissett multiple times before fleeing the area on foot. Relatives rushed Brissett to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where he died while being treated. The killings followed triple murder in Rosyth after gunmen shot 5 people at a birthday party on Wednesday evening. A total of 8 people have been murdered in the parish of St. James over the past week. How many more One Don gang members will be released on Monday? After spending 5 years and 5 months in prison in connection with his alleged involvement in the One Don gang, Damien Elliston's main wish as a free man is to reunite with his 6-year-old daughter. "Me want to send for her, cause I from she born me in a lockup," anaesthetic Elliston said, shortly before he was whisked away Thursday from the Supreme Court in the company of his girlfriend and other jubilant relatives. The 26-year-old livestock farmer was among 4 defendants who on Thursday were found not guilty of breaches of the anti-gang legislation after the prosecution conceded that there was insufficient evidence. The other 3 equally elated exonerees were Owen Armsby, Rivaldo Hilton, and Roshane Williams. Elliston, who was previously overheard during a break in one of the sittings, telling someone that he would be freed in 2 weeks, said that he wasn't surprised by the verdict as he had anticipated it since he was charged. He insists that he had never been involved in criminal acts or been a member of the gang. "I bear false charges," he said. When asked what advice he would have for youths contemplating getting involved in crime, Elliston said, "Badness appear none at all. Just stay in a school like Cartel say and get your education and make your parents proud." In the meantime, Elliston said he will return to livestock farming. He said he hopes the remaining defendants too will bust the case as jail no nice. Abieming Ormsby, who had spent the last 2 years and 7 months in prison, said he views his freedom as a second chance. "I plan to make the best use of this chance," he said, adding that he plans to migrate as he does not see a future in Jamaica. He lamented the charges against him, claiming that he was implicated simply because of his associations. However, he said, "God a God, and me give thanks. Me never expect this today, but me feel good." His girlfriend, who waited patiently all day for him to be released and could not stop smiling, said she knew he would have been freed, although she too had not expected that it would have happened so soon. "Me always have faith some will come out, cause me pray about it. And when me go church, me send on the prayers to them, and me tell them for pray too," she said. When asked how they'll celebrate, she said with a laugh, "Me can't tell her the plan the way me feel good." The 4 men were among 32 males, including alleged gang leader Andre Blackman Bryan and a female Stephanie Christie, who were charged on an indictment with 25 counts under the Criminal Justice, Suppression of Criminal Organizations Act and the Firearms Act for crimes allegedly committed between 2015 and 2019. The offences for which they are charged include leadership of a criminal organization, being part of a criminal organization, illegal possession of firearm, and illegal possession of ammunition, and facilitating the commission of murder, conspiracy to murder, and arson. Meanwhile, during Thursday's proceedings, lawyers, 12 of the remaining defendants, beseeched Chief Justice Brian Sykes to find that their clients do not have a case to answer, as the Crown has not provided sufficient evidence to ground the charges against them. The lawyers all argue that the prosecution has not fulfilled the elements that are required to prove that their clients were a member of the criminal entity and essentially have nothing other than the say-so of the 2 main witnesses, who are ex-gang members who both have their own interests to serve. The Crown has indicated its intention to discontinue pursuing 6 of the counts on the indictment, including 5 in which Brian was charged. He is now left to face 12 counts. The lawyers of the other defendants will continue to make their submissions when the case resumes on Monday. Construction to start on fire stations for Ulster Spring and Balaclava. Construction of 2 fire stations in Ulster Spring, Trelawney, and Balaclava, St. Elizabeth is expected to commence this year. Minister of Local Government Desmond Mackenzie says ground is slated to be broken for the Ulster Spring facility next month and the Balaclava station thereafter. Speaking this week, Mackenzie disclosed that the new Port Murray Fire Station in St. Mary and Yallas Fire Station in St. Thomas will be officially opened shortly. Mackenzie told the House of Representatives that the Jamaica Fire Brigade has received the new trucks that were sourced during the 2020-2021 fiscal year. Each of the island's 34 fire stations now has at least one brand new state-of-the-art fire truck. 360 new COVID cases, 0 deaths. Jamaica on Friday reported 360 new cases of COVID-19 and 0 virus-related deaths, bringing the total confirmed cases to 136,313 and the death toll to 3,049. Of the newly reported cases, there were 194 females and 122 males with ages ranging from 4 days to 95 years. The new cases were recorded in St. James 36, Kingston and St. Andrew 97, Westmoreland 13, Trelawney 10, St. Catherine 61, St. Elizabeth 16, Clarendon 27, Manchester 14, St. Anne 14, Portland 9, Hanover 2, St. Mary 2, and St. Thomas 15. According to the latest statistics from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the country also recorded 146 recoveries for a total of 86,829. The country's positivity rate from the latest batch of testing is 29.8%. There are 130 patients hospitalized, 4 of them are critically ill. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.